Okay, so I want you to think of how many diets you have been on in your whole life. And now I want you to think about how those diets have impacted you and your relationship with food and your body. So, if you don't struggle with food guilt, if you just view food in a neutral way without thinking about it the whole day, this video is not for you. But if you've been a constant dieter, trying to lose weight fast, going on diet after diet only to end up back to where you started or worse, this video is for you. If you're a dieter and you struggle with binge eating, emotional eating, and overeating, I want to show you how dieting is actually keeping you stuck and why focusing on your weight versus actual long-term behavior change is not doing much for you. So I'm Danny. I'm an eating disorder therapist and a body image and binge eating coach, and I have more than 12 years of experience working with women who struggle with eating disorders and their body image. And I created a series called Breaking the Binge Cycle for you to have as much information to finally feel in control around food and improve your body image. So this is episode 3. If you haven't seen 1 and 2, I'll link them down below. You can check them out before or after you watch this video. So I want to use this video to talk about the difference between focusing on weight and diets versus actual long-term behavior change and health when it comes to healing your relationship with food. If you struggle with binge eating your relationship with food, there are different outcomes when you focus on weight versus health. When you focus on just losing weight, you're just focusing on the number on the scale, maybe the size of your clothing, right? And there's so many ways to actually get to lose weight that don't mean getting healthier. So the desperation to lose weight with my clients is so strong that they have tried many things to actually get there, right? To lose weight. But the thing is that these things have actually made their health worse and have worsened their relationship with food. And they still blame themselves instead of seeing what's actually happening, which is diets don't work, right? So I've worked with women who struggle with eating disorders for more than 12 years now, like I've mentioned, and I always like to mention this point, which is I've seen women in all different type of bodies that are healthy and all different type of bodies that are not healthy. The thing is that the road that you take, right, is what actually defines health. Those behaviors that you're doing to either improve your relationship with food or to lose weight, right? All the actual behaviors are what make you healthy versus not. If we focus on weight and just losing weight, we're not really looking at the behaviors that you're doing that are impacting your actual health. Why? Because your weight doesn't define your health. So let me give you an example. Let's say we have 2 women that look exactly the same, weigh exactly the same, right? One can be unhealthy and one can be healthy. It's just depending on what the behaviors that they're engaging in are. So let's say one is using laxatives, constantly dieting, constantly weighing herself, over-exercising at the gym, thinking about food all the time, stressed, anxious, doesn't like their body, and is constantly dieting and binge eating, right? That can be one. And then we have another one who has finally healed their relationship with food, sees food as neutral, is able to eat enough throughout the day, eat healthy meals, balanced meals, eat desserts whenever she wants in a mindful way, and doesn't think or stress about food or her body, right? Those 2 different scenarios are gonna lead you to have very different health outcomes depending on the person, depending on genetics. We talk about this more on my course with the dietitian, but I want to really make the point that your weight does not define your health. You can be engaging in unhealthy behaviors and have a low body weight, but that doesn't mean that you are healthy, right? You can be in a bigger body and actually be healthier, right? But it depends on what you're doing, what you're focusing on, and what you're healing. It does not depend on your body size. So when somebody tells you you need to lose weight to improve your health, that is lazy advice, okay? So again, the avenue that you take towards that weight loss can actually be harmful physically and mentally to you. So it depends on the actual avenue that you take when you start to heal your relationship with food. So let's say you go on diets, you think about how much you need to work out every day, You over-exercise, you think about how little you need to eat, feeling chaotic around food, right? Always thinking about food, always hungry, then you binge, then you eat emotionally, right? Those are not health-seeking behaviors, right? This can be caused by only focusing on your weight. Okay, so if you focus on your weight and you do all these things only to end up back to where you started or worse, and then you blame yourself for failing, right? And then you try again and again and again, you're just stuck in a cycle. So I want you to take a moment and think if you're stuck in this cycle. Now, I want to take a look at what the different impact of focusing on weight versus health can have. So if you struggle with binge eating, emotional eating, overeating, dieting, right? Anything that I just mentioned before, it's probable that this is caused because you're only focusing on your weight. All right, so let's take a look of how focusing on weight can impact you differently than if you focus on health. So if you focus on weight, this can cause a lot of food guilt, fear of eating because you're scared that it will make you gain weight, thinking about food all day, thinking about how you need to exercise all day, and then feeling guilty about that. Not having any more calories left in your day, so being hungry and not knowing what to do, binging, overeating, emotional eating, feeling out of control around food, and then fear-based decisions, and then you just end up giving up. What I mean by fear-based decisions is you're scared that you're going to gain weight, so you impulsively start to see how you need to restrict or over-exercise. Okay? Now, that is different than if we actually focus on health-seeking behaviors and long-term behavior change. So what this actually looks like is actually focusing on behavior change. Seeing what your blind spots are, what you're not seeing, what is keeping you back that you might not be aware of. And one of them, surprise, surprise, is focusing on weight loss for most of my clients, right? You also have a curious mindset. You're actually more open to learning because you're not focusing on how much you're failing or on how much you need to work out or restrict. You're open to feedback and you progress over time. I love this saying, slow and steady wins the race. So little by little, you start to see more and more progress and you look back and you say, oh, I've actually progressed a lot these past few months. Why? Because you're actually working on long-term behavior change instead of impulsively dieting and trying to heal your relationship with food and binging and overeating and emotional eating. So this is why mindset is so important. And I explain this further in my course. I go through the exact step-by-step process that you need to go in order to go from this shift of focusing on weight and impulsively dieting and binging versus actually focusing on health-seeking behaviors and seeing food and working out and your body in a very neutral and effortless way. So can you change behaviors to actually improve and take care of your health? Yes. And let me tell you, sometimes that means working out less and eating more. Can you still have health goals like stopping your binging or moving more? Yes. But do your past behaviors keep you binging and in the food guilt and stuck in that cycle? Probably. So you want to make sure to assess what your behaviors are now if you relate to more of like that food guilt that I was talking about, so that you can actually be open to learning that long-term behavior change that I've mentioned 100 times today and focus more on behavior change versus just impulsively dieting and binge eating. You just have to see if those behaviors are actually helping you or if they're keeping you back and stuck in that cycle, which leaves you worse than when you started. So once you start to work on your mindset and improving your behaviors, you'll actually be able to learn about nutrition and health in a neutral way instead of feeling guilty and just throwing away all the sweets you have in your house because you don't want to overeat them again. You'll be able to know what's impacting your binge eating and to resolve it from a knowledgeable place instead of freaking out again and just dieting again and again and again to only feel worse and more out of control around food. So you'll be able to see how you can apply gentle nutrition in your daily meals without it feeling restrictive or like another diet. Long-term progress, people. So stop blaming yourself because you're just doing what you can with what you know. It's just time to learn a different, better approach. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Follow along for more. The next episode, which will be the last episode, will be on how you can actually let go of the fear of gaining weight so you can actually improve your relationship with food. I'll see you there.